Valley Club, a brand new arena meta is coming to Marvel Strike Force. Will it be worth pushing for the upcoming Annihilator team? Will they actually be as strong as their kits look? We have purple Iso-8 level 3 in the game right now, sort of. What do you need to do to prepare for this next evolution of Iso-8? Is an open all milestone button needed? More free promo codes, a bunch of free Deadpool stuff to discuss in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I'm joined by the most recent champion of the Cosmic Crucible Tournament, DorkyDad. And if you're ready for all this stuff and more, then brother Dorky, let him know what to do.
Let's go smash it.
And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin, this is DorkyDad, and this is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. We do this every week, keeping you updated on everything that has happened and is upcoming in Marvel Strike Force. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. There's at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos on a normal non-vacation week. Next week, we're still on vacation, so that may be a little light, but everything up your experience on Marvel Strike Force is on this channel. And with that said, how has your experience been in Marvel Strike Force, the champion of Cosmic Crucible, brother DorkyDad? How have you been?
It's been a pretty wild week with like Skrull happening on the new account as well as the Apocalypse changes. Like, I feel like there's a frenzy of happiness with new players unlocking new tools, and it's kind of rubbed off on me. So I'm a lot more chipper than I was last week. Let's say that.
Nice. Captain Britain doesn't seem that bad. I saw him on defense once and we won, so it doesn't seem that bad. So maybe not too much to be angry about, but I'm pretty hyped about this new team, brother Dorky. What do you think of this new Annihilator team? Endgame Thanos looks insane. Gore looks insane. Gladiator looks insane. What do you think of these new characters? And then we'll get to the reworks in just a little bit, but what are these new characters? What is your first thought when you saw the kit of Endgame Thanos? Look at his bald head.
Absolutely bonkers team. So little hidden behind arena, except like the super overpowered stuff was hidden behind arena, which is good, right? We don't want a hard reset, but overall this team looks very, very powerful, and they are not going to be like Illuminati where they're good in Crucible but they're trash in War. No, the Annihilator team, they're going to be good in all modes.
Next, Secret Defenders. We got 3 new characters here, and I guess we kind of had 4 Secret Defenders. We're very good in Cosmic Crucible War. We expect, obviously, they're going to be very good in Arena. These 3 characters, and then whoever else too you want to bring in. Probably not Silver Surfer and Ultimus, but probably if you got a Mephisto, Super Skrull, Old Man, something like that will be in the arena meta. What do you think when you first saw this kit of Thanos? This is kind of his way to remove Safeguard, get rid of Safeguard without breaking the rules of can't remove Safeguard. So just reducing the duration of all positive effects by 5 and instantly expire something with 0.
Yeah, I think he does it on either his special or his ultimate too, but not by 5, by like 2. And it's a cheeky way of saying we're dispelling Safeguard without saying we're dispelling Safeguard, right? I kind of felt like it had to happen eventually, just because Safeguard is so crazy. And I'm guessing we're going to see the opposite side of this coin with the next big release character. It's going to be like degrade or whatever word they use there, but for negative effects instead, and then trauma will get dispelled that way too. So I expect we're just gonna see the opposite side of the coin, which in other games, the length of them, they eventually hit these like crazy strong buffs. And then as time goes on, they need to find a way to get around those crazy strong buffs. Yeah. So this was inevitable. It feels cheeky, it feels cheap. It's not locked behind arena. So we're gonna find some use for this outside of arena too. But it is what it is at the end of the day, I guess.
So looking at all their passives in arena, Thanos, enemies cannot gain immunity. Also with the passive of Gore and Gladiator, they can't gain any assist, and they can't gain any speed bar outside of normal speed as well. What do you think of the effect of all these characters' passives when you add them up together? The enemies can't do a lot, and you cannot do a lot to the Annihilators or this team in arena as well.
Yeah, they hit all the marks they needed to hit. So I think it's Gore is stopping Old Man Logan for being any sort of threat, as is Gladiator with that anti-speed bar. Gladiator's also going to be kind of a Mephisto equalizer, where he's also stopping your Mystic characters or any of his allies from getting exposed when he's above 50% life, which is on spawn, right? Which is when Mephisto does the expose. So I find that to be super interesting, and that's outside of arena. Keep in mind, Gladiator is like a Mephisto counter outside of arena, so we can now use Skrull against Mephisto. Mephisto gives all those buffs, and Skrull goes crazy with speed bar. So I think that's going to be super interesting. I'm happy they're locked behind Arena. Those 3 big ticket passive, those kit things.
Yeah.
And listen, we knew, like, you know what the Arena meta is. The Arena meta is crazy.
Yeah.
With speed bar, assist, trauma, stun, safeguard, all that kind of crazy stuff. Arena is the game mode, one and done. You get to use your entire roster, both on offense and defense. The team to come in and unseat what is currently the meta had to be crazy.
And I was going to ask this earlier. I forgot my question. Secret Defenders. This kind of reminds me of Secret Defenders, where you get these 3 very strong characters that are going to be very good in Arena, but I think they're going to have a lot of use outside of Arena as well. You mentioned some of their passives already counter teams like Mephisto, things like that. How long do you think these 3 characters are going to last in the meta? Not just in Arena, but also Cosmic Crucible and War, because you could argue Secret Defenders are still kind of in Arena meta and are still very relevant in Cosmic Crucible, very relevant in War right now.
Yeah, so the big question we're going to have answered by this team is, because this is the first team that's going to have the new stat stuff, right?
Yeah.
What this team doesn't have that Secret Defenders have is on-spawn speed bar plus a huge rewind. Then they get speed bar from Robbie. So the Secret Defenders team goes really, really fast. This team, Gore at 129, he's pretty good, but no crazy speed bar. So I'm going to be interested to see how this team lines up with the new speed stat. But going forward, with the new speed stat kind of being the thing, I think this team will outlast things like Secret Defender. So I think a year and a half, 2 years from now, we'll still be using the Annihilators. They might just be like a top, 7 to 10 team in War, and maybe like your 11th team in Crucible.
Gosh, now what do you think of this new Arena meta that they're doing? I remember one of the worst times in the game when the meta was Infinity Watch versus Infinity Watch. There were long battles. They took a long time. Since then, the Arena teams we've had have had a lot more variety, a lot more theory crafting that we could do. I mean, the Arena meta is kind of a mess right now, and I think that's a good thing, because there's no one team that rules everything on defense, and you need a few different things. What do you think about their tuning of Arena and allowing more theory crafting? And do you think this team will allow more theory crafting or less theory crafting by what you see from their kits?
So from what I see from the kits, I think there's going to be a little bit less theory crafting. I think we're going to have Gore, Thanos, Gladiator on every single team. People who own Mephisto put Mephisto over Silver Surfer. And then people will probably, like Surfer and Ultimus, they're just not going to be on the final product of this team, right?
Yeah.
Mephisto will replace Silver Surfer because he's the first one to get the boot. And then depending on who they put in the 5th, it's going to be that 5th slot that gets the most theory crafting. My concern is that if you put like a hero in there and then they get the taunt from the Mephisto, but the other person, say on the offense, they bring in Ultimus, your hero that just got Safeguard, Ultimus will delete them. And then all of a sudden it's an automatic 5v4, which is going to heavily favor the offensive side. So basically heroes are going to be a no-go in Arena for a bit.
Gotcha,
which I find interesting, but also a little bit concerning. With that said, Old Man Logan came and revolutionized the Arena, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have another legendary character that comes out soon, and they very well might do the same.
Build up your Illuminati. They're going to be needed for the next legendary character.
Yeah.
What do you think about these reworks for Silver Surfer and Ultimus? Obviously, they're going to fall off first in Arena. Do you think they're going to have some life in the beginning, or immediately people are going to start to put in their Mephistos, Skrulls, Apocalypse, things like that? What do you think of their value in Arena initially, and where do you think they're going to end up? Is it worth building these characters for other game modes like War and Cosmic Crucible?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, I don't think Surfer ever sees the Arena. I just don't. I think Ultimus has a lot more value. He's got that punch for people that get taunts. So again, the second somebody has Mephisto on defense and that Mephisto puts taunts on somebody, Ultimus is going to erase him. And Ultimus's stats are crazy. Ultimus's diamonds are super cheap, even though they're dark diamonds. I believe it costs like 1,200 total to get him all the way to 3 diamonds, which is bonkers. Yeah, and Ultimus also got a speed rework, right? So he got 40% increased speed, bring him up to kind of current meta time speed. Yeah, I don't see Surfer making much room there with Mephisto existing, and then Ultimus probably not for very long. But as far as like War and Crucible go, I think that just with their new stats, they're going to be around, especially in Crucible, because there's going to be 6 teams in Crucible, and you stack your best to the best there. That's going to include some pre-taunts. And then for Ultimus to get so much speed bar, and like say the Old Man Logan team, you put a pre-taunt in there. Ultimus is going to come in, erase that pre-taunt, and you just go from there. So I think there's going to be use for these guys elsewhere.
All right, so Silver Surfer was worth building up at one time. He was one of the best characters in the game at one time. Not sure about now. Ultimus is interesting because there are going to be a lot of pre-taunts, and he has this mythic tag for Dark Dimension. Is he worth building up for Dark Dimension at this point now that he has his stats readjusted, or is it just kind of a little readjustment that is kind of giving him that little bit of life, but not really worth building him up?
Dark Dimension 7 is super tough, right? And it's because that tag is super super limited.
Not a lot of mythic characters.
Like for him to replace like Kestrel, Doom, or Dorm as that fourth character, it would be tough. Like he definitely has a lot of the stats for it. He's gonna hit super hard, but I do believe his ultimate cooldown is mistaken, so that works against him. And then 5 turns, and then Doom and Dorm come in and they really elevate what Skrull and Apocalypse do. I do think Skrull and Apocalypse still have much more value than Ultimus will in that mode. But that last wave, they made it trivial now. So the last wave of Mephisto is no longer is road blocking people. So you could just suffer through it with Ultimus, so you have like a better tune on the other side than Doom and Dorm. But I don't know. It's tough. I wait and see if somebody brings him in and tests him.
All right, and Dorky, in addition to a new team, we also got a new level of Iso-8 T3 up from T2. We're going purple this time. And these were kind of announced erroneously. T3 credits, which can be used to open T3 Iso-8 orbs, were mistakenly included in daily objectives earlier than intended. We left the credits in the daily objectives for a full 24-hour cycle to make sure they were accessible to all players. Removed them once everybody had a chance to claim them. We have more exciting details on T3 Iso-8 in an upcoming blog. This is what it looked like here. And if you claim do all your hero objectives, you could have got some of this the past 24 hours or so. What did you think of T3 Iso-8 when you first saw this in the game? What did you think it was going to be used for? I'm careful how I'm wording this question because I know you know some things right now, but what do you think when you first saw this?
It was another inevitability, right? The way Marvel Strike Force works on the progression, it kind of builds on what's already there. And I much prefer that. Like moments, we've heard a little bit about them, no idea when or if that's going to come. It's like a new thing. I kind of like them building up on the old stuff instead, because it just makes it a lot more simple for like new players and even myself just to keep track of all the progression paths. So this was inevitable. It's probably still going to give 10% stats when you get all the crystals in, if it goes all the way up to level 5 right away, or 2% for every crystal that you add in. And then whatever the effects are going to be, probably like Iso Blue, we'll see like percentile damage. We'll see 10% health at some point. We'll see like extra crit damage or something like that for raiders, extra barrier for fortifiers. Like I think it's going to be pretty bland. But when we saw this before, it was for Apocalypse, right? And that was the Apocalypse Saga started. Yes. We saw it kind of roll out as the main reason to push raids as hard as possible. So I kind of figure we're just doing a repeat of that, and maybe this will be needed for the next Dark Dimension as opposed to gear, or maybe it'll be needed for some other sort of event coming down the road. Like who knows what it's going to be, but it was going to happen. So it's fine to me.
So what are you doing to prepare for this right now? Are you going to just hoard all this stuff when you get this and then not spend any of it until you're exactly sure what it's needed for? What plan do you have with this right now? Or just try to equip it on good characters like maybe Apocalypse and Old Man Logan, or because something that you know are going to give you value right now, and for whatever this is needed for, you may want to use those for those characters anyway. Nothing hold. What are you doing with this when you get this influx?
Yeah, there's a couple of characters that they're seemingly time-proof. You know, you got your Skrull, you said Apocalypse, Old Man Logan, Nightcrawler is a really nutty character, maybe some of the new Annihilators coming up. Like, these are characters that I would probably equip it on. Like, if it's easy to get to purple level 1, then I would spread it out on those super good characters, but I'm not going to waste it on, like, Icarus or Robbie Reyes or anything like that. I'll save that.
Might be falling out of the meta soon.
Yeah, exactly. With the new stats, like Icarus getting a double tap is going to quickly become not a thing, right? Another thing I would do is I would make sure that my alliance is ready to start pushing raids, because if they follow what they did with the Apocalypse, it means the next raid tier is around the corner. So you want to be ready for that. And I hope to God the Mystic section is the final section, because unless you have Mephisto, like Mystic is rough with that Bifrost team.
Now, as far as what they said, we have more details on this in an upcoming vlog. What do you think the release method is going to be? Is it going to just be through these daily objectives at first? Or is it going to be like a raid reward or some kind of new game mode reward? Where do you think we're going to get all this stuff? How do you think we're going to get all this stuff?
If I had to make a best guess,
Yes.
1 month of offers and a very small amount in the daily claims, like 1,000 of that is probably not enough to open an orb, right? Because there's normally 2,000 to open up an orb.
Every 2 days you go to open one orb.
Yeah, so I would probably think it's gonna be like that for a month with offers for the Krakens to really sink their teeth into. And then maybe the next raid pops up and it's in there, or maybe they start doing events where we get it, leaderboards, stuff like that. Of course, right, with the auctions.
Yeah.
I would expect a decent time of like straight exclusivity with it.
And Kraken stones for Alliance Milestones, probably.
Oh, 100%.
So that your Alliance has to spend. All right. Now we got some free stuff. It's not all just spend. We got some free stuff earlier this week. The code given out, Pool Party, and again with these codes, if it doesn't work the first time, keep trying because sometimes I try 5-6 times. Yeah, I'll have it on the screen here. But now, because it's Pool Party 1, do you think that it's gonna be a new one every week? We got 4 weeks of Deadpool, so do you think next week we're gonna enter the Pool Party 2, the following week Pool Party 3? Do you think it's gonna be like that every single week and just get some free stuff so we already know what these codes are gonna be?
If me and you aren't doing it, somebody else will do it and share it with us if it works, right? So, I mean, that'd be cool. Here's the thing. I think it was the new community manager, Strike Fox. He ran some sort of like scavenger hunt on the main Discord in the general channel. I didn't get to see it or take part in it. I think that's super cool. Community engagement events are awesome. If Strike Fox is able to squeeze rewards out of Scopely to run these events for us, I think that's great. Keep it coming. Cool. This is fun.
More events, more hype, more free stuff. I like it all. So yeah, make sure you get this. The code, again, Pool Party 1 is up on the screen. Now, there is a graphics update, and we sort of had a rolling update. Some people have had this, some people haven't. I still don't have this after a couple weeks, but some people got this 2 weeks ago. I think it looks nice. There are some issues. I hear some issues with the brightness being a little too bright. Obviously, these pink lines on some of the raids. I'm also hearing in Crucible and War. What do you think of this graphics update overall from what you've seen? We talked earlier, you said you don't have it either, but from what you've seen, what do you think of this graphics update and how it looks in the game?
So I look at that Apocalypse and I'm like, oh, that looks way better. Even the background behind him looks way better. But then his collar is like a glare. So it's like that sort of like intense light they need to fix up. And then the picture below, it looks almost like there's too much light and it's like a metallic shine on some of these characters. Like Absorbing Man looks like he looks like Sunspot almost. Like or not Sunspot, the Human Torch sort of, where he looks like he's on fire. There's a little bit too much light going on.
That's a good description. Everything looks metallic, even things that shouldn't look metallic there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the hell. I guess this is when there's not assets there and it loads like this. I think that's a common thing in games. So hopefully this gets fixed, but I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see it. I want to see this graphics update because from what I've seen, I like the looks. There are some issues, and I hope these issues do get corrected over time because I think this is the first pass, but I think that what this will allow them to do, or at least what they said, allow them to put more environments in the game, make more changes, kind of like these OTA updates. So hopefully they figure out the graphics, get it to a place where everybody likes it, and then they can start putting more stuff in the game because that's ultimately what I think this is for. All right, Ares. We got an announcement of Ares. It looks like he is coming next week to a battle pass. Looks like a hybrid character for War, fits on a lot of teams. What do you think of a character like this that just is a character, fits on a lot of different teams in one game mode? Looks like a very dominant character in that game mode.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the theory crafting potential behind characters like this. I hope they, I get that teams roll out every single patch. I would love for them to include one plug and play character every patch that people could really sink their teeth into. Like Black Knight wasn't a plug and play character, but he also kind of was. Ares is the definition of plug and play. I would love for them to do more of this for War, for Crucible, hell, for Arena, for whatever modes. Like you can even put out a roundabout good character and give him some sort of sword satellite tag that we get to use once a year. But as long as he's good everywhere else, like I really love the non-team team ups characters.
I do as well. The character looks very good. We talked about base stats earlier, how everything moving forward from Ares Annihilators are going to be with these increased base stats. But let's talk a little bit more about his release method. Now, what they've said is that these battle passes are going to be repeating. So it's going to be Ares Battle Pass, Ares Battle Pass, Ares Battle Pass, which means that in the paid path, you eventually could get the 7-star quicker. Even on the free path, what they've said, though, is that you're still going to get that unlock and get a lot of stars for Ares. Kind of reminds me of what they do with Mr. Negative and a few other characters. They're just kind of giving out a character. What do you think of this release method? How friendly is it for free-to-play players? And how fair is it for people that buy this, that they get some shards earlier? Do you think this is a good release method?
The release method is fine because it's like after the second pass, people will probably have them unlocked. So it'll take a month to get them. People will have like a 1 or 2 weeks exclusivity. Like that's fine. That's kind of what it normally is, right? Like Hank was released how long ago, and his event isn't starting for like another week. That's fine. It's kind of is a little payback to the past buyers who got kind of gypped on the Captain Britain stuff, which I like. There's 2 downsides to this. I guess as a spender, it could be the case, like you said, Mr. Negative, right? Like, could be the case you buy all these passes, you're probably going to anyway. Now you're not getting different characters. Like, you're not going to be getting Annihilator character shards that could have appeared in that pass, whatever Alpha Flight or whatever other team has come out since then. Illuminati, I guess, would be the actual call there. So it's going to hurt people's chances to get extra stars on those new characters, especially Illuminati with the next legendary event coming up, where they would have gotten that influx from the past, right?
Yeah, is this some kind of tinfoil hat that they're not including in Illuminati on purpose? But we're not giving you Illuminati, but we'll give you this free character that's good in war. But exactly. It's Crucible.
I wake up and I tighten that aluminum hat all the time. Also, for the people that do spend on the passes, what if he is like Mr. Negative, where it's passes now, and then all of a sudden he's thrown in as like the next raid reward, and then everyone has him at 7 stars like 2 months after the people that bought every single pass, which I think would be fine.
That's fine. I'm probably gonna buy the passes, and if I get them a little earlier and everybody gets them free later, that's fine. I get my few weeks or a few months of enjoyment at higher star levels, whatever.
I'm
fine with that.
At the end of the day, I think it's cool, right? Hey, we're not going to be walking into 1 diamond Ares characters immediately because it's exclusively available in the battle pass.
That's what their plan was. Let's see how it's actually launched though before we say that, right? Because things don't get launched as intended sometimes.
True.
Let's talk about this character outside of war. Obviously in war, lots of different teams have a lot of different plug and play value. Do you see him have any value outside of war? He does some good things on his passive. Non-mythic cannot gain charge or immunity, which is good while he's charged. Any other value you see for this character outside of war? Maybe Cosmic Crucible. I don't see him in arena meta, but maybe Dark Dimension.
A lot of people have been asking me if they should bring Ares to Dark Dimension instead of like Nightcrawler or Black Knight in that global section, if they still want to bring in Cabal. It's a tough sell for me, but if it was to go over somebody, it'd probably be over Black Knight at this point, just because he's got some tankiness to him. As far as like plug and play elsewhere goes, he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be a little bit slow for those modes. He'll act like a really good Infinity Watch counter because of what his passive does there when it stops, I believe it's immunity, right?
Yeah, it starts immunity and charge. They can't gain charge or immunity non-mythic enemies. So Mephisto's still going to do his thing. Apocalypse still does his thing, but some other characters, no.
Yeah, so he's gonna like make it so you can control Infinity Watch right away. Like there's some interesting
no, Green Goblin, no,
Ooh,
that's pretty cool.
The Black Knight part is a cool thing. What I would be concerned about is we've seen a lot of
Goblin too. That means you can still ability to block all the Superior 6 and everything.
That's very true. I take it back. As long as the passes work as we read it, unlike the Illuminati worked this entire patch, then
I like the way you work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we'll see. We'll see when it comes to the game. As far as it reads, it looks like he'll have some value though, but we'll see. Yeah. All right, Illuminati. They are the new team in the WoW. We got a full team of Illuminati this week. Have you seen a lot of full Illuminatis running around in WoW in your Crucible and everything this week?
Yes, I got stonewalled by one. This team is the definition of scaling, of understanding scaling, because this team at low star levels gets demolished. This team at high star levels, not so much.
Have you used these guys on offense for the milestones this week? And if so,
Yes.
what was your experience with them? I love them on offense, even without Captain Britain.
Yeah, so on offense, I believe I demolished a Black Knight team. I've seen them be beating budgetary Mephisto teams. So like if somebody goes in with like Mephisto Black Order, I've seen them beat that. So right there, you use them on a giant punch up.
1 million punch up on Superior 6.
And no Captain Britain there. So that
It
shows
was not
right
e-
away.
and it was not even close. This was more of an experiment. This match was not even close.
Nice. So hey, right away, this shows like people who are saying the Illuminati team without Captain Britain is worth investing in. If you like Crucible, you're dead wrong. This team is 100% worth investing in if you like Cosmic Crucible.
Let's go to some of my previous attacks, because we fought a Black Knight with it. And even though we didn't remove the charges, Shuri wasn't big enough to remove the charges, we still won. And this is an 800 billion punch up, or 800,000 punch up. And week 1, we had a similar matchup, or day 1, we had a similar matchup there. And Illuminati, what did they beat? They beat X-Men with Black Knight, and no charges removed either. So
that's crazy.
yeah, so
It's crazy.
that's my experience with with Illuminati. I think they're awesome. But
yeah, they're very, very good. So I got stonewalled. I didn't realize I put my Superior 6 on defense. I meant to have them on offense. I always mean to have them on offense.
okay,
I had to face them in stage 4, which is where they're the scariest on defense. I did 2 burn attacks. I tried to hit it with Secret Defenders with Apocalypse because I did not have my own Illuminati. I didn't have Superior 6. I didn't have what I would have liked to have because it came up last second. Yeah, so it's what this person did here. This is
but look at this.
Yeah.
We beat our Captain Britain on defense. We used the new words and then Superior 6. So
Right,
I'm not
but-
sure if Captain Britain's worth it.
But you are facing a 5 yellow, 4 red Captain Britain.
True,
The
true.
diamond Captain Britons are different. And
I say
Wales,
even the 6 reds. 6 reds are even different.
he scales. He scales like crazy.
All right, so very, very good if you have him big. If he's not big, it's kind of questionable like this.
Yeah.
And if you're doing the events properly, you're not even having on defense anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, yeah, so if you didn't crack it out on Britain, but you wailed out and you have him at this, 5 yellow, 4 red, I'm using this team on offense, and I will use them to one-shot Mephistos. That's what I would do with them.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is it worth the cost of Captain Britain to be able to one-shot Mephistos in Cosmic Crucible? That's kind of what the question is, though.
Man, it entirely depends on how you value the game mode and how many other people wailed out on him, right? Because if you really want those diamonds from Cosmic Crucible, or you really like to push, then I guess. But also, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and how long is he going to be in the meta? Probably not for a serious, crazy amount of time, right?
Yeah, Crucible moves fast with the meta.
It kind of does. It kind of does. All these season changes and everything like that. Now, there was some issues for people that bought Captain Britain with some stars going out. I think they had to buy stars and then they gave them out for free. What happened here? Because I was not even paying attention to this. What was the issue with the Captain Britain releases and the red stars and the wrong offers, things like that? What happened, and did they have a good solution for this?
They had a decent solution for this. So what they did is they had this, what's called a daisy chain offer, where it's like there's 5 steps to it. The first step upgrades them to 4 stars, 4 red. The second step upgrades them to 5 yellow, 5 red. The next step, 6 yellow, 6 red. The next step, 7 yellow, 7 red. So that was, and you had to buy one before you bought the other, which made sense though, because the first one was 80 shards, then 130 shards, 200 shards, and then 300 shards, right? It just worked out that way.
Okay.
But for some reason, they ran another set of offers for this character where it was like 120 shards for $100. And just like, why? Why would you have this offer, which brings them from star level to star level? You've already said this character is exclusive. He's not going to be like farmable or put into bumps or anything like that. So why on earth would you have non-complete star offers for him when you already have the other one and the awakened abilities were hidden in the other one? So it was just like, it was a bonehead, like we normally put character offers out like this, so we're just gonna do it again. Now they ended up comping those people, I believed, the awakened abilities for certain star levels or something. It was a really weird thing. I'm not quite sure the full extent of it. I'm sure someone in the comment section can let us know.
Gotcha. So do you think that this was done on purpose, malicious, or do you think there was just an error that they sent those usual offers out, especially given the compensation? I probably think it's an error. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a gross oversight, and like people need to start getting smacked on the wrist for these gross oversights, because there's that saying, never attribute malice, which could be explained by stupidity. That only goes so far, and you can only be stupid for so long without getting.
If it's stupid for so long, does it eventually become malice if their stupidity keeps repeating?
Yes, it does. Either malice on the management or on the person who's just getting away with being, making those mistakes, for sure.
I agree with that. All right, let's talk about the Illuminati updates, because we got an update. Now, I wasn't sure if this was live before the season of Cosmic Crucible. I'm hearing that the Shuri passive change was live before this season of Cosmic Crucible, but not all these. So as good as the Illuminati was this week, they're going to get a little better, unfortunately, on defense, but also a little better on offense. And hopefully people keep using it on offense. Now, Black Panther Shuri, what they said, they were receiving community feedback regarding her passive on spawn. It's inconsistent, functionally confusing. It stems from how the passive mechanics works. Offense on the left side goes first, then the defensive side goes first. When Shuri is charged, she prevents villains from getting speed up. However, if the villain's on the offensive side, they will gain speed up because Shuri's passive hasn't procced. And what they did to make her more consistent, easier to understand, she now gains charge prior to other characters on spawn passive, regardless if it's offense or defense. This sounds like it's a good change. Was this a good change? Was this a buff? Was this a nerf? Was this just to make it function properly? What was this change in your mind?
This was essentially a shot at Masters of Evil. So if somebody had like a 3-star Captain Britain and just a 5-star Hank and 5-star Shuri, someone can go in with Masters of Evil and maybe like one extra character and immediately nuke either Hank or Captain Britain and go from there. So this functionally makes it so Masters of Evil will never gain speed up on spawn, which I mean is fine. Like I don't think Masters of Evil should be beating the Illuminati team anyway.
Seems like how it's supposed to work originally, if you read the passives, though, right?
Yeah. So
to me, it does. It seems like it's just got it to work how it's supposed to.
Well, yeah. So like we were goofing on passives before, right? Like how do we read the passive? What happens when? Like, so for Superior 6, the Superior 6 passives go first if they're in offense, then the Illuminati passives hit because they're in defense, then Vulture's passive has a third interaction, and then Shuri's passive. Like, so it's like, it's all over the place. So this just kind of makes it more simple. I think it's fine. One thing that they don't say here, which is really important, is Shuri was bugged. Shuri was not marked as a chargeable character on release, even though she gets charged. Now she is. So Old Man Logan, because Shuri is the only chargeable character, will actually stop Shuri from getting charges for her first turn. So with that fix, now Superior 6 with Old Man Logan should demolish most of the teams that have Illuminati, because Vulture is now, or should, give speed up to the Superior 6 team. So what should happen is Old Man Logan stops the Shuri charges, Vulture sees the speed up, Vulture gives speed up to his team, and it should just be off to the races. But then you don't have Old Man Logan on defense.
So Shuri got updated. It seems like it's proper. What do you think about these? I'm not sure if these were live this week in Cosmic Crucible. What effect do you think these changes to Hank Pym, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Shuri, and Iron Man will give to the Illuminati? Better, worse? Making them a little more consistent outside of this game mode or outside of this team? What do you think this does with to the team?
It makes them marginally better. Like Hank Pym having his ultimate from 3 to 4 is good. It'll help them outside of Crucible, so he actually gets to do it turn 2. Or if there's no Shuri for some reason, he'll still be able to do his ultimate turn 2. Black Bolt's damage, 10% is great, but it doesn't solve the main issue with Black Bolt, is that a death proof just instantly just stops Black Bolt in his tracks, right? Like Black Bolt's burp needs to also do like 1% max health damage, so it kills your death proofs or something like that. Unavoidable on the ultimate is fantastic. The Black Panther changes I think are great, and the Iron Man changes, well, if you don't have Captain Britain, they're decent, they're okay. I think this is going to help them mostly in the upcoming Legendary event as opposed to other game modes. People are upset with this team's performance in War. They will be upset with this team's performance in something like Sword Satellite. Anywhere where there's not those Crucible rooms, this team is super flat. I'm going to make a prediction. This team costs a lot of money to get Captain Britain. If the spenders that they convince to spend this much money, who don't normally spend, if they're loud enough, I think we're going to see Hank Pym's passive where he gives speed up to the team on spawn. I think we're going to see that in all modes because it wouldn't break the team in war. It would just make them like an upgraded war dogs. So I kind of foresee that happening.
All right. I think that sounds like a good change. You know, make them a little better in war, give them a little more value. Because it sounds like they're not very good outside of Crucible right now.
No, they're not.
All right, but what they did was make it a little easier to get some of these characters if you don't. Now, with these Pimpal orbs and this Wakanda Queen orb, you may already have these characters unlocked with all the orbs that we've gotten, but if you don't have them unlocked, the Legendary variants got a little easier. Iron Man got his requirements expanded to hero scale. Black Bolt has his requirements expanded to Mystic Heroes. I'm not sure what this does because I haven't started a new account in a long time. You started a newer account more recently than I have. What do you think this does for players trying to get these characters if they don't already have them unlocked from all the orbs that we've gotten?
Yeah, it just helps it happen faster. It helps them max the characters out faster. I think this is a great change. I was clowning on these orbs from a end game, even mid game perspective. Like Iron Man and Black Bolt, you probably had them maxed out before these orbs came out. Yeah. Mr. Fantastic as a veteran player, you probably had him maxed out. I'll give you the perspective from the new account when I first had it, right? I had no idea the Illuminati was coming. My Mr. Fantastic was 3 stars. From the shards we got from Mr. Fantastic in the temporal event, temporal dimension, and these orbs, my Mr. Fantastic went from 3-star to 7-star during the Illuminati release. So it's really good for new players.
Good. Yeah. I think that's what the orbs were for. It's not really, it's kind of like a disguise. The Hank Pym or shards or Shuri shards. It's really for the catch-up mechanic for the rest of the players that don't have these characters unlocked is what it's seeming like, because there's not a lot of shards in there.
Yeah, I just wish that messaging would have came along with it, right? Because we were clowning those orbs. Because as like a veteran player, like those orbs are silly. They make no sense. They're just, you might as well just say this is Ultimate credits, right?
Yeah, they're horrible. They're horrible for veteran players, but for new and mid-game players,
yeah. But in the messaging, when that blog hit, they'd be like, "Hey guys, we know that most people have these characters unlocked. Just know this is a way for us to give you a couple Hank and Shuri shards through good RNG or through the milestones. But for the most part, these orbs are for new players to help them get the rework characters." I think then nobody would have had the disintent. No, didn't like these orbs. I don't think people would have hated these orbs as much.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever I pull characters that I don't need, I was like, oh, this orb sucks. And when I get characters that are not at 7-star, I'm like, oh, I like it. So I think everybody has that kind of feeling based on what you need. But let's talk about this Strike Store, because there's a lot of cool stuff that I need in this, but these prices are pretty insane. How much does it cost to get 5,000 of these? You need to spend $50? You need to spend $500? What do you need to spend to get 5,000 of these credits?
$50.
$50 is this. Is this worth it? I know you made a video that the old bang for your buck milestones were better. Now that you have a couple days to digest this, do you still feel the same way? The old bang for your buck milestones were better. I do like that you have some agency here, but the costs just make it like, I don't want that stuff at that cost.
Yeah, so after thinking about it for a little bit, I still am just as disgusted as the store as I was before. But here's why. So to me, I agree with you. The agency to get, some Crimson gear, some energy, which you can now stockpile for events, some T4 and stuff like that. I like that agency. From a low spender perspective, and I say low spender, that's not true. From a pass buyer's perspective, okay? Like if you were buying one pass every single week to line up with bang for your buck because you really wanted gold and you really wanted training materials, you're getting less than half of gold and training materials from the first 4 main bang for your buck milestones than you could purchase from this store. So from that perspective, like they're giving agency to some players, like, come on, big spenders that are going to actually get benefit from having, hundreds of thousands of these tokens. Sure, they're doing good. Hey, guess what? They were already doing really good. The mid spenders kind of get jerked around by this store. I don't like that. Mind you, I did give that feedback to the developers right away, and they said like, hey, we're gonna take all the feedback, we're gonna run it back, we're gonna talk it out and see if any changes are necessary. So I'm hoping we're going to see a drastic reduction in the token cost for training materials and gold so that it at least lines up with the old bang for your buck.
I agree. And what I do like about the devs, sometimes they make decisions that aren't good and they make a lot of mistakes, but they are willing to listen. Sometimes they don't take the feedback at all, but I think in this situation, they will take the feedback. Same like the graphics update, we should have some changes for the better for this, and that's what I'm hoping now. Do you think that it matters that these strike points don't expire? The cost of all this stuff, it's pretty high, but do you think that this not expiring like helps to improve that, or it doesn't matter because it's just such a high cost for this stuff?
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't expire definitely helps. Like, I think a big strategy people are not talking about is hoarding. If you're a pass buyer, hoarding all the energy, all the tokens that you get for like months and months and months. And then when there's an energy event, if you scroll down, there's actually an offer that gives energy. Assuming that offer comes back regularly, right? Then you would just dump your load on that one right there for 130 energy, and then maybe you could help get extra milestones, or you can maybe place higher in a leaderboard. So I think there's definitely some benefit to it being a permanent currency.
I think so too. I think overall the thought of this and the way it's described sounded pretty good. The actual cost and execution could be different, but they could switch all that stuff up as well. So I think that's cool. All right. We also have some events that's going on right now in the game for Deadpool. A lot of free stuff, a lot of good stuff in this. It is a little confusing where you get this stuff. It's right here in this pool party event. But I have heard that the first time rewards, I've claimed the first time rewards already, but the first time rewards were different. Now, from what I remember, the first time rewards, I got some some diamonds, I got some crimson gear. I heard it got changed to diamond orb fragments. Did you clear this early? And if so, what did you get?
So I saw the early rewards, but I didn't clear it because I wanted to do it on stream. The initial rewards on that first node were 150 Mockingbird shards, which is why she's up there in the top left corner.
Okay.
150 Coulson shards and 150 Ronin shards.
Okay.
It sounds like you got the same rewards I got. We got some diamonds. We got a bunch of gold and training materials, and other people didn't get that. I've already communicated that with developers, and they are apparently they're aware of it and they're working on it.
Error or on purpose? Do you think they changed that on purpose, or there's just someone screwed up and?
I think somebody probably screwed up on the initial rewards. But if you already cleared it, then you cannot get the intended diamond credits and the gold and the training materials. So I think they got to run it back for the people that cleared it on release. But also, I think they need to send those shards.
Yeah, just give it to everybody. Just give out gold to everybody. I mean, they're doing that with some of these passes as well. All right, now in this, during these events for the week, we're getting a few cool things. Some of the events that we got all these costumes that we could release. We got this Deadpool costume here. Did you see this in game? What do you think of this Deadpool costume in game?
I have not seen it in game. Can you show me?
This is the new one.
Nice.
It's like a Thor Deadpool. Hot Pool is the costume's name.
There we go.
What do you think of this costume?
It's doesn't really feel like in the spirit of Deadpool, but it's okay.
I don't know. Maybe something will make sense when we see the movie, because his first appearance, Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So maybe we'll have more of a emotional connection to this costume after we see the movie.
It's a
I don't know if it's a
spoiler.
spoiler. Well, we've already seen this in promo pictures and stuff like that. I have no idea what the hell this means though, but I've seen this promo picture. Now, the other cool thing about this event, we're getting all the Wolverine costumes are out for this event. But there's one on sale right now that shouldn't be. If we go into this, now this is gonna crash the game. This is kind of a warning, guys, and I'll crash the game for you guys. If you go into costumes here, all the way at the bottom, we do have the Wolverine Uncanny costume, which is supposed to be a reward for the event that's going on right now. It is available for -1. If I scroll this up, it's available for -1 costume credit. Let's go buy this, and it will crash the game. Just be aware. Yeah, anomaly detected. There it goes. All right, but with that said, what do you think of the events in total for Deadpool, the rewards that we got, the first time rewards, what is coming up in this? Do you think this was a good celebration of the movie? They could have done something else. I mean, I always like free stuff, and I'd feel bad about complaining about free stuff, but I think it's pretty good. What do you think of this stuff?
I feel like they haven't done much movie tie-ins, and I haven't really felt enough seasonal celebrations in the past. This feels like a return to that, and I'm here for it. I love it. I think the orbs they put out are good. The summer vibes, going it hard on Deadpool, I think is fantastic. I'm super pumped for this month of stuff, and yeah, I hope they continue with this sort of energy. when it comes to, you know, celebrating Marvel stuff, whether it be, you know, in the cinemas or in comic books, whatever the case may be. I think this is cool. This is definitely a step in the right direction.
Do you think that it's because of the movie though? There's so much hype for this Deadpool movie. There hasn't been a lot of hype for some of the other Marvel projects that's been released. Yes. This one seems a little different. Do you think that we have this big celebration in the game because it's the Deadpool movie, or this is just something that they've known about for a while and they were able to plan this a little more in advance than some of the other events?
100%. It's because Deadpool is hot, right?
Yeah.
And the way Ryan Reynolds is doing it, like they're gearing up to be probably one of the best-selling rated R movies of all time in the cinemas. So I think that they're definitely going to catch a lot of hype off that, which is great. And I think they should look to these like cultural Marvel events for, you know, going hard on events. Like, what was the last super hard comic book run? I guess like Secret Invasion, they should have did something much more when Skrull was released to do like a whole month about Skrull. Null, when like Venom and the Codex and all that, they should have went super hard when that was going on. Like they should really latch on to these super popular Marvel products when they're live and keep going like that. But yeah, this is definitely because Deadpool is going to be an amazing movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got tickets. We're gonna go see it today, actually, because this video is being released on Thursday. Now, one other thing about Deadpool, you do get some chimichangas. This is from my alliance mate. It is on your all claim daily objectives. It's all the way on the right though. So if you're not seeing the chimichangas, make sure you look at the all daily objectives complete. Scroll all the way to the left side. It is there. It normally stops at these catalyst here, the orange catalyst on this side. And Dorky, we also got a new month-long milestone. This one a little different than we've had in the past. We got these orbs that are like the big thing. There's no character in this, and we have a pretty nice frame at the bottom too, kind of celebrating the dead. This is an interesting frame here, just so I don't know, we can't see it, but what do you think of these orbs, these Summer Night orbs as the main reward? Let's go check them out and tell me what you think of these Summer Night orbs. In this, you have some okay things. We have some character shards, some recent character shards. Some of the Alpha Flight's not farmable yet. The Mercs for Money, not farmable yet. What do you think of these orbs when you saw the contents of some teal gear on that side, some more teal gear on this side, so helping players to try to get into older Dark Dimensions. Decent characters here. What do you think of this month-long event this month?
So, man, I was just kind of praising how the like Mr. Fantastic, Black Hole orbs were good for new players. Like this orb is great for new up and coming players, but since it's the only reward and it's the month-long milestone, it's not just like a secondary event. I hate to see those percentages on Deadpool, Deathpool, and Sunfire being so much higher than the Alpha Flight, but still 5 out of the 8 characters are like super brand new. No free to play should have those maxed out. So I do like that this orb at least has some juicy contents in it. And the month-long event itself, unlike the previous month-long with Sasquatch, has training materials in it, which I really like. I really like the addition of training materials. I know if you're like a super veteran account, training materials are not a thing for you. Trust me, mid-game and new players they're starving for training materials. So I like that they were included in the month-long event.
All right, and even more milestones going on, Brother Dorky. This one is about the Adamantium Forever. You need to battle in Cosmic Crucible with Illuminati characters, which is interesting. On the week that Captain Britain was released, more of a defensive stalwart in Cosmic Crucible, but this event forces us to use him on offense if you want to score points. So you either get that Captain Britain unlock and get to dominate in Cosmic Crucible with your new toy, or you have to use him on offense. What do you think about this event design, you having to use Captain Britain on offense instead of being able to use him on defense like he kind of was designed for?
I really dislike it. I was talking earlier about how like I had my Superior Six on defense. Yeah. The reason I had them on defense is because in my head I was like, oh, we need to use them on offense for event, so everyone's going to do that. But then I forgot the people I face are big spenders. They don't need to use the Illuminati on offense to finish this event like I did on that account.
Yeah.
So he had them on defense, and it ended up causing an issue. And that kind of becomes the problem, right? It's like now for this event, I either need to buy my way through it and be inefficient by having them on defense, which is where I do think they shine a lot brighter in that stage 4, stage 5.
Yeah.
Or I use them on offense so I don't have to spend as much money here. I really dislike the event where they kind of dictate or try and dictate where you use the new team, whether it be on offense or defense. I don't really like that.
Would you like an event that you were able to score if you have them on offense and use them on offense, but also if you place them on defense? Would you like that kind of scoring for these type of events going forward?
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you have them on defense, as soon as the Crucible starts, you just get milestone points. I think that would be perfectly fine. It's still going to do what they want it to do, right? It's still going to reward the players
that bought the character,
bought the new stuff. Like, that's all this event is supposed to be. So I do wish that they would do that.
I do as well. It wouldn't affect me either way for this event, but you know, it feels good. You buy something, you get to use it, how it's designed, and you get the points for that in the event. Now this event, what is it called? There's so many events, Dorkin, and we are going to talk about all these events. Twilight Expeditions, that is the Alliance event that's going on right now. Now with this one, you do need the battle and raids, but you're also getting more milestone points for Spotlight raid nodes. So do you think it's worth getting these, doing more Spotlight raids, trying to squeeze in an extra Spotlight raids to try to get some of these Kraken stones? Because normally with these milestones on the bottom, they're not available for free-to-play players. But sometimes with events like this, where they don't cap certain things, like in this case, the milestone points from Spotlight raid nodes, you are able to get this if you are pushing. So do you think it's worth for alliances to really be pushing, doing extra Spotlight raids for some of these rewards down at the bottom? Or are they way too far away for that to even matter?
So I think you should be pushing Spotlight raids just because of the rewards in the Spotlight raid, right? Like you're hitting the extra percentages, getting those extra T4s. And can you go back to the scoring there for a second? Was it 1 point per node you hit?
Yeah, so each node actually awards you different points. So these earlier nodes here give you 250 points. The nodes that require Spider Society, 500 points each, 500 of these milestone points each. And then when you need the Alpha Flight nodes award you 2,000 points each. And that boss node all the way at the end gives you 2,000 as well. So it's not just 1 point per, it's 1 point per milestone point, but you're getting more milestone points per node that you complete.
So yeah, so it sounds like you're getting extra rewards for kind of doing what you should be doing anyway, which is pushing the Spotlight raids as hard as you can on whatever difficulty you can reach the highest percentage on. Like my Baby Alliance, we're doing 100% Spotlight 1, even though we could probably do 70% Spotlight 2, because the T4s for getting 100% are better in difficulty 1 than getting 70% difficulty 2.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And last thing is, it's about these events. I couldn't find the Twilight or the Twilight event because there's so many events. There's a lot of events going on right now. And normally I'm like, this is cool, but when I had to claim this from like every single milestone, it got a little annoying. So what are your thoughts on all these events? Is this a good thing to have too many events, or is this a bad thing that we don't, or can all this be solved? We have all these events going on and just have a open all milestones button. We have an open all, or we used to have an open all button. We have an open all objectives button. Should we have an open all milestones button?
100% yes, we should. And it should just show you what you earned at the end. I think right now it's kind of a weird time to look at it. And everything that went on with the whole Epic release was awful, including the amount of events. So we have the Article Professor,
milestone, that milestone, this milestone, right? This is a horrible milestone, right?
Yeah, it's just clutter for like 30 days. It's like, guys, we don't like, just stop. Just stop. All right. Hopefully we don't see another Epic release like this ever.
All right, is it what so does the open all milestones solve that, or should they be grouped? Like we got our main milestone here, and then we got our alliance event and our solo event in that. All these Illuminati things are in one grouping, and then all our normal stuff like Golden Opportunity, Save the World, World Warrior are in another. Is grouping solving that, or just an open all milestone? How would this be solved for you?
I think the open all is probably the best solution, because there's a lot of people that play the game kind of on autopilot when it comes to events that you're kind of just doing what you're supposed to do anyway. Yeah. And you're not looking to spend money, so you don't care about seeing how close you are to the next milestone in the given event. Just like, let me claim all and move on with my day, go do my raid nodes, go do my war hits, whatever the case may be. So I do think a claim all is probably the best solution.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be like as annoyed with all these events going on right now if we could just open all these, because having to do this one by one is what I don't like. All right, that is it for the news this week. And what is coming up next week? We have Iso-8 level 3 coming up, Annihilators coming up. What are you most looking forward to, brother?
Most looking forward to going to see Deadpool.
Me too. So we're gonna see that today. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let me know your thoughts on Deadpool, Iso-8, Level 3, Annihilators, and everything else that is coming up this week. If you did enjoy this video, got some value from it, leave it a like. It is free. It tremendously helps the channel. And if you want to check out the best characters in Marvel Strike Force right now, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Deadpool. Have a great rest of your week. Hulk fist bump, brother Dorky. ValleyFlyin out. Oh, there he is.